Hello, U.S. history students. Mrs. Pascogan here. Today, I want to start off with this painting. I want you to take a look at this. Just take a look at all sections. Remember, I said before you want to put a line down the middle of a picture, and then another one where you put a line in the other way, and you kind of divide it into 4 segments. That way you don't miss anything. You look at each section. What do you see here? Look at the expressions on their faces. They look happy, they look sad, tired, excited. What do you see here? Well, if you look, they don't look too happy, right? They look really miserable, really, to me. Sad, tired. It doesn't even. Something's going on here. It's like someone's laying in the snow. Well, what you're actually seeing here, and you see some guards here with guns. So it looks like these people are being marched by these men on horses with their guns, right? And the people look exhausted. They look sad, dejected. Some are sick and maybe even dying. Well, what you are seeing here is a depiction of a very terrible, dark moment in American history, and it's called the Trail of Tears. And that's what you're going to learn about in today's lesson. It was, and I'm going to read a quote here, found from the History Channel. It was one Choctaw leader told in an Alabama newspaper, a trail of tears and death. So what was the Trail of Tears all about? What could have possibly caused America to round up, several different groups of Native Americans and force them out of their homeland like this at gunpoint? Well, that is something you are going to look a little further into with this lesson. So you're going to look at, and actually, that is a mistake there. Okay. You're going to look at the Trail of Tears some more in this lesson. And by the end of it, you should be able to explain the impact of westward expansion on Native Americans. So I already looked at this image here. So the next thing I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you read this article by the History Channel. And you're going to learn more about, at the time there was a saying about, what are we going to do with the Indian problem back in this period of history. And so what does that mean, the Indian problem, and what was their solution to it? And you're going to read about that in this Trail of Tears article from the History Channel. Then I want you to watch this brief video overview of the Trail of Tears by PBS. And then I also gave you a map of the different routes taken during the Trail of Tears. And then the major part of this lesson that I want you to do, and I absolutely love this. It's called, it's a song you're going to listen to called Don't Drink the Water by the Dave Matthews Band. And I used to do this in my old brick and mortar school. I've been doing this for years. Maybe some of you are even fans of Dave Matthews Band, and I know I was back in the day. I still like them. But this song is so powerful and moving. So I just want you to, click on the link. And I will tell you, it does lead you to this YouTube of the song. Here it is. But what I would like you to do is have this playing and then open up another tab. And as it's playing, I want you to read through the lyrics. I don't necessarily want you can maybe do it the second time you listen to it, watch the video. But the first time, I just want you to listen to it and follow along the lyrics as it goes. And what I want you to do is, here's the do, highlight words that are powerful or meaningful to you. And you can highlight right here on this document. Okay, and that's really important because that's part of your elaborate, which I'll get to in just a minute. And then I want you to think, what do you think this song is about? How does it relate to what happened to the Native Americans? And then for the explain, what was the Indian problem and how did the United States deal with it? So you just, again, type it right in there, your answer. The evaluate, test what you have learned about the Indian Removal Act and the Trail of Tears by completing this brief quiz. And then here, for the elaborate, respond in writing. In one paragraph, a minimum of 5 sentences, so it should be no shorter than 5 sentences. You can go beyond that, but not under it. What do you feel was the meaning of the song by Dave Matthews Band, Don't Drink the Water? So what do you think was the meaning? And then I want you to write that in this space. The knowledge you gain in this lesson, in addition to the resources in Summit, will help you complete your checkpoint impacts of Western expansion on American Indians, which I'll just get to here in a moment. Then, of course, we always end with a self-assessment. So you just highlight which one you can relate to here, and then write a reflection. And you could always do that. This question is, what would you like to spend more time on in school? And then you just click on it right here and start typing it. Okay, so that is your lesson from me this week. And then I have in here that this will give you some background knowledge to help you with the impacts of westward expansion on American Indians. So let's go into Summit here. As you know, we're working on this whole project of intention and impact. So, what was the United States' intent with westward expansion and, versus the impact that it really had on different groups? And so you're looking at these different groups. So far you looked at the impact on Black people. Now you're on American Indians. Just so you know where you're going to look at immigrants next week. And then the week after that, you're going to look at women. And the big piece here is you're going to compare and contrast the impacts with all of these different groups. So keep that in mind as you're going through the knowledge you're gaining. Think to yourself, oh, okay, so how, you learned about Black people last week. So think, okay, so how is this different from their experience? All right. So, but this is the checkpoint. You're going to work on them. And let's see here. There it is. Okay. Yeah, this is the one you're going to work on. Impacts of westward expansion on American Indians. And it's set up like they all have been. There's a document set that you need to read through. And it gives you specific highlighting directions that you need to look at. The main thing is you're looking at how did westward expansion impact American Indians? Okay, so think social impacts, political, economic. Okay, so that's your focus. There's document A, document B, document C, D, E, F. Okay, so you're going to read through those and carefully take notes, highlight as you go, and then you will complete the graphic organizer as always. So how did westward expansion impact American Indians? So you write your document, letter, the evidence selected, you copy and paste the quote, and then you show about that quote how this evidence is related to this supporting question. So how does that quote show how it impacted American Indians? And then you're going to write your answer to the supporting question. And now here, copy and paste your answer to what was the intent of westward expansion. So that's what you answered a few checkpoints ago. Compare and contrast the impact of westward expansion on American Indians and Blacks. This can be filled in as notes and doesn't need to be full sentences. So this graphic organizer is pretty much your draft of what the checkpoint is. And then copy and paste your answer to what were the anticipated consequences of westward expansion to American Indians. And then compare and contrast the intent of westward expansion with the impact it had on American Indians. This should be filled in with complete sentences, however many you need to fully demonstrate your thinking on this topic. And then I'll let you go ahead and read this yourself about the personal reflections. So this graphic organizer, you'll see, totally fits in with your checkpoint. So remember, they keep showing at the top the compelling question of the inquiry, which we're building up to, is how does the intent of westward expansion compare to the impacts it's had on different groups of people? So this week you're looking at American Indians. So it even tells you here, first copy and paste the evidence from your graphic organizer, so that you already did. All right, so the work you did in your graphic organizer, you can just copy and paste it here into the chart below. And I'm assessing you on your cognitive skill selection of evidence. So can you pick the right evidence to support your ideas, what you're trying to prove? And then you're just going to copy and paste your answer to the following questions from your graphic organizer into the box below. Again, this one's on compare and contrast. So here we're getting into now compare and contrast the impact of westward expansion on American Indians and blacks. And you just did this in your graphic organizer, right? Similarities and differences. So you're comparing and contrasting their experiences. And then here, finally, compare and contrast the intent of westward expansion with the impact it had on American Indians. So this is the checkpoint. And you can see how important doing the graphic organizer is, because oftentimes it's the draft to this checkpoint. You can copy and paste right into it. Okay, so that's it for this week. You're doing my lesson and you're completing the checkpoint. So let me know if you have any questions, concerns, you need extra help. I am always here to help. Just send me a hangout, send me an email, and you have a wonderful week.